training, but today we're going to do another one. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around. Hello, good morning, and welcome. I'm going to go get my helmet on before we start doing any kind of training. Okay, so we have our donkey separated out today. Let's see if he shows. Let's see if he shows up. So remember, with positive reinforcement, the animals have a choice in everything that you do. And so right now, I don't see any animals that are showing any interest in doing much of anything. Okay, so now we have donkey sees that we're here. And he's sort of looking and trying to decide if he wants to come over here and do something with us or not. So clearly, when I do training with positive reinforcement, I always sort of do a check-in every 15 to 30 seconds or so. And I apologize, I don't have my microphone. It's not working today. Mine broke, and we need more donations in order for me to get a new one. Just being honest with you guys. And so what I'm going to do in the meantime, since I definitely have our donkey communicating very clearly. Again, somebody yesterday said, I wish they could talk. And I mean, they do talk, right? I mean, can't you clearly hear what he's saying? Like, what do you think he's saying? He says, He goes, maybe. I'm looking at you like, maybe I want to hang out, but now he says, I definitely don't. Okay. And so what I can do in that time, there's just a couple of different things that I can do. So first of all, I need to quickly change my energy, right? Because now this is turning into a situation where he is just practicing ignoring me. So from a training perspective, that is not something that I want happening. So I need to get some energy, some momentum built up right now in order to stop this pattern that he's having right there. So he's still continuing to practice completely ignoring me. And so let's see what we can do to change that. There's a lot of different options. Anybody have any ideas on different things that we could do? Food is one, that's for sure. And then there's also something that I like to call the push-pull, and I'm going to show you that. So just me coming out here changed his body position. Can you see that? So just me coming out here with the camera, of course it's terrible because it's super windy here today, so I'm super sorry about that, everybody. But good boy. Now, do you see how we completely changed the energy of the training session and got him to where he's actually interested in what we're doing and is like, oh, okay, so that sounds fun. So notice I didn't yeehaw him in any way. I didn't harass him around this round pen. I didn't, sack him out or use a flag. I didn't do any of that stuff in order to get him to turn around and give me two eyes. Okay, so everybody knows that follows most horse training. He is so cute. He is so cute. So now we're going to see what he's going to do because he's thinking about, he's like, oh, wow, okay. See, notice I still have two eyes. So that's something that's very common in horse training videos for people to talk about. And I totally agree with that. Getting them to give you two eyes is awesome. But notice I did it without round penning techniques, without any kind of horse whisperer techniques, right? So now I'm losing his attention, right? And so what can I do? The one thing that I could do is I can get a target and I can see if I can get him to do some kind of maneuvers. Or I can come closer to him. I got a lot of options on what I can do, right? But as long as he is staring at me, I am doing the right things. So as long as he is looking at me, wanting to hang out with me, then I know I'm doing everything right as a positive reinforcement trainer. Well, as a trainer, period. As a friend, as a coach, as an owner, as a wrangler, whatever you want to call yourself, right? But if you are interacting with an animal like this, or have the opportunity to interact with an animal like this, whether it is yours or somebody else's, if you work at a barn and you have to clean stalls, interact with this animal. So we can go inside. He's getting nervous about the so I'm going to just reassure him a little bit because wind is scary for these animals, and so you always have to take that into consideration when you're training, and you have to change things up. So what I did right there was very purposeful. I did not walk off until he dropped his head down and actually moved his head a little bit towards me. His name is Dominic, the Christmas donkey. Good boy. And notice I'm clicker training as we go. He knows clicker training. So now, good boy. I'm going to continue to click him. See if we can get him in to our training session. I'm going to reward him with all these clicks. Good. Coming right through that door. Fantastic. Good boy. Then he came in here and he got scared. So he's thinking about leaving. So it's my job to help make him remember that this was actually fun. But the nice thing is he has the option to leave. And so that's great, right? So he came in here. I was a little slow dealing with the tripod and the camera. If I didn't have to do that, if I had another person here, I could have more dedicated myself to helping him experience calm and enjoyment from coming into this room. Instead, he came into this room and he goes, oh, I don't know, this looks kind of scary. And so I feel bad about that. And so that's where sometimes it is helpful to have somebody helping you. But the reality is most of us are not going to have anybody helping us, right? I would say the majority of people out there that are training horses, you're doing it by yourself, right? And so we just have to make do. The nice thing is with positive reinforcement, you're never making mistakes. And so as long as you're following the structure, the framework for how the training works, so you're never really taking steps back. You just might not be as fast as you'd like. So sometimes people say it's a slower process. Well, it's only a slower process if you don't practice it enough. Just like with anything, if you practice it enough, it goes actually faster. Okay, and so for those of you that don't know, I'm Dr. Gina Queston. I am a holistic veterinarian. I'm also a certified professional animal trainer, certified through the Dolphin Research Center because of the fact that I am an aquatic veterinarian. So I know that sounds really weird, but good boy. So it's getting windy and awful out there, so he's thinking about coming in again. Come on, babe. So he says, let you, good boy. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Good boy. So now comes where I have to decide. I have to decide where and how much to reward him, okay? Because I have to try to anticipate as a trainer if the next spot that he's going to get scared of is going to be the skate, the hallway, the actual room at the end of the hall itself, I need to try to think about how he responded to that and figure out where I think might be his next sticky spot where he might be afraid to go through, okay? And at this point, I'm just really not too sure. So I'm gonna just back up and see if he'll come through. And so see, he's not. So I'm gonna do, oh, good boy. And he is coming. Okay, good. And he's walking pretty good. So I'm going to risk not giving him a reward right at that moment and try to see if I can continue to bring him even further back into my web. As I have said before many times, it's like a dance, right? It's like a dance. And you have to be like, excuse me, fine sir. Would you please be so kind and gracious as to dance with me? And he has to say, I don't know. I'm not really sure that, what's in it for me, right? And so you can up it with, if they're target trained, you can use a target like he is. Clicker training also helps make things go faster. And obviously some kind of motivation in this case would bet some carrots. And so what I love about this is the fact that he's still standing there, he's still giving me two eyes, right? So again, no round penning, no yeehaw, no flag, nothing like that, but I still have two eyes. Okay, so notice I clicked a couple of times, good boy, and now he's coming right on through. And the reason why I clicked a few times and didn't give him some food right away is because he has been in here many times before. He's usually not too frightened about being in here. So I feel like this is not too difficult of an exercise for him. But clearly he's leaving, so I have to do something. And again, I'm sorry I don't have a microphone today, so it's hard to hear. So I'm going to always have to come back to the camera so you guys can hopefully hear me well enough. And so see, he's still communicating extremely well and says, I'm super not interested, okay? So now we've been at this for what? How long have we been at this now? 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's starting to get kind of boring to me. Probably boring to him as well. And so at this point, we're going to make a decision. We're either going to up the ante and see if we can get him more interested in actually participating in this training session. And if not, then we'll just turn him out and work with a different animal. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed that, but I really tried to get in and out of there and touch him as little as possible, right? So maybe a little bit tricky on my part because I did go down there and block that exit. But again, this is not his first time. It'd be really good for him to get brushed and his feet picked and things like that. And what he doesn't know is that right in here in this bin that's right there, there's all kinds of alfalfa hay and alfalfa cubes and all kinds of other goodies and snacks that he certainly doesn't need, but that will help him to be less anxious about coming back into this area. So again, he's communicating pretty clearly that he'd probably be much more interested to just leave than to come back here. So I'm going to up the ante. Okay, so you have to increase the paycheck that the animal might be interested in. And why don't you look at that? So already we've got, that is the sound that almost all horses, doggies, it would always come to right away. They really love that sound. But here's the thing, am I gonna let him really have a bunch of this grain when he gets down here? Depends. I'm gonna let him at least have a bite for sure, okay? But I'm certainly not gonna allow him to have the whole bucket because he's overweight, he needs some exercise, and feeding him more grain is not gonna be the best thing. So I do have other things that I can offer him, like I have more carrots and I also have some alfalfa pellets. That did you see his ears? He's like, alfalfa pellets? Did I hear somebody say alfalfa pellets? Yeah. All right, let's go see what he can do to earn a few alfalfa pellets because he seems interested in that. Okay, so again, positive reinforcement, we're gonna change the frame every about 20 to 30 seconds. We're gonna check in. How's it going? Check in. How's it going? Check in. How's it going? Right now, what do we have happening down here? We have, again, we're back to where we were when we were outside, which is practicing ignoring me, okay? And so I don't love that for him. I'm not doing anything to him that would stress him out to make him be like, oh, she's so scary and mean, right? I'm not doing anything to him. And so, and he doesn't have to be down there. He could be in here. He could be anywhere kind of in this area that he wanted to be. So he's clearly making it obvious that he wants to kind of be as far away from me as possible or close to his friends. But it's like windy and not nice out there anyway. And so I don't really believe what he's communicating that much. But here's a perfect opportunity for me to increase the energy, right? I need to increase the energy of this moment as quickly as possible. So my theory to increase the energy as fast as possible is with hula hoops. A couple of reasons for that. I like hula hoops. They make a lot of noise. They're super fun. And they make animals move, right? So notice that he's moving. So this would be a part where I would call this, it's a push. It's a little bit of a push, right? I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone and also pushing him to be a little bit out of his comfort zone. Now, you have to check in again, right? We talked about checking in every 20 to 30 seconds. Partially, it wasn't super great because the wind kicked up and got really, really crazy right at the same time as I was doing this. Okay, and now he's back to just ignoring me again. So I'm gonna go ahead and increase the energy again. Okay, so why is that important? Why does that matter? What the heck was I even doing down there? And so what we're doing down there is basically testing to see how nervous or scared he really actually is, okay? If he was super stressed out about being down here, being by me, he would have gotten a lot more panicky than that, but he didn't get panicky, okay? In fact, he was like halfway thinking about pushing me out of the way so that he could hang out by that gate anyway, okay? So that's not really very nice, right? So when we talk about being safe in your safety circle and maintaining that safety circle, that is exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go back down there and I'm gonna try to create a little space for myself in a safety circle with my hula hoop right in front of him. Again, if he's super afraid, he can come way down into this room and escape from anything scary that I'm doing. but I don't think that he is gonna do that. He might come down here to actually get a treat or something, but I don't think he's gonna panic escape. But I can't let him practice ignoring me. So I have to increase my energy so that I can get those 2 eyes, right? So I'm going to use that opportunity. Okay, so what the heck was I doing right there? Well, some pretty advanced donkey training is what I was doing, right? So I almost climbed on him. I got him to tolerate having this hula hoop around his neck. He didn't care about any of that. He didn't care about me climbing on him. I could have probably had 2 or 3 people climb on him in that moment, and he would have been completely fine with that. And so we're training him, right? So we're doing it in little bitty unconventional increments. Okay, so you gotta pick the right thing to train at the right time. And so in that moment, that was the thing to train. Notice I opened the gate to give him a reward for allowing me to do all that with him. He's not going anywhere, right? He's not giving me 2 eyes, okay? But he's also not fleeing the scene, terrified of me and not wanting to have anything to do with me, right? So now let's see what I can do with him and see if I can get him back down here. Look how far I got him. Ha! Good, and I got 2 eyes again. Yes! So again, I got 2 eyes without round penning him crazy or doing a flag or anything like that. I still haven't gotten back here. The other thing we could do is if he's super afraid of training back here in this area, we could train closer to his friends. Yeah, so what's going on? So we're doing donkey training today. This donkey just needs to be groomed. So he just needs to have his feet picked, then he needs to get brushed and get looked over up close and so forth. So in general, what I like to do is I like to invite them to come back to this training area that we have back here, where we have our brushes and treats and the hoof pick and everything is like, and the fly spray in the summer and all that's like really ready to get to. And it's kind of good for them because it helps them make a positive association with this training space. And that's where we like to separate them out from the others and do a little training. Hopefully that makes sense. We are the nation's premier positive reinforcement animal sanctuary. So that means everything that we do with these guys is in a positive reinforcement style. And what that actually means is kind of the same way that dolphin trainers handle dolphins, is that they just move them from one pen or pool to another. That's what we do here instead of putting halters and lead ropes and forcing and leading and tying them. Good. Okay, so our next trainer for the day is arriving. Hello, Miss Patty.
That's my good boy.
He says, I need you to help me. He goes, I'm afraid of being brushed and stuff today.
Aww.
He says, if you'll come here.
We can work on that.
Yeah, let's work on that.
Can I fly? Come on, sweet boy.
How are you today?
I'm okay. I am not sure how long I'll last today.
Oh.
I had 6 immunizations for my trip to Africa in the last couple of days. And so I'm a little tired and achy. And we'll see. I feel much better today actually than I had yesterday, than I did yesterday. But I don't know how much energy I'll have. So.
Okay, no problem. Well, I've had him in here, I don't know, I've probably been working with him for like 30 minutes. I got him back into the garage once, but then he got nervous and ran out. And I'd really like us to kind of groom him and pick his feet and stuff today.
Okay.
But he's just nervous because it's windy. And so I'm just going to pull the camera back and have you help me. Let's together.
Okay.
Yeah, see if we can work with him, and I'll just
Okay.
kind of keep the camera running while we're doing that. I'm just going to move it back.
That sounds good.
Okay. So again, I'm sorry guys that my microphone has died. So you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Here, take the pointer and see if you can get him to come in.
Hey, mister. Doggy. Do you want to come and get brushed?
You know, what we could do, Patty, is if he just won't come, maybe we just brush him right down there.
Okay.
I-
think that's probably going to be the choice. He doesn't look too interested.
Yeah,
Well, there's a little look.
yeah, let's do it.
Not much. Let's just all get the brush and we'll do him down there.
Oh, is that a fact?
What? What are you telling us?
Yeah, now he's talking.
What are you telling us, huh? Good. Boy, see, that feels good. You like this. All my friends that came to the ranch for the Santa Day sure thought he was cute.
Oh, they were right. I'm gonna drop this down, okay?
Okay. Yes, they thought you were a very handsome boy.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think we'll get him groomed just right there, and he'll feel safer here than he was feeling about coming back to the garages. Perfect. Okay, so when you're doing grooming, you always start with some kind of a curry. In this case, we're doing a metal curry because he's got a big, thick winter coat and mud and dirt and so forth on him. But when you're using a metal curry, you always want to be careful and not use it on their lower legs, right? So that is definitely not a tool you're going to use on this animal's lower legs. And you want to be very careful around their belly and around their flank area because it can be a harsh tool. But that's just where you start, is something like that. And so from a safety circle perspective, I think this is looking really good. We're
Around the back.
She's really just putting a little pressure on. I think the front was your better choice, and I would just go low. I would just go under his neck and just watch for being struck. Yeah, there you go. And see what's he. So then, is he trying to give you a hug? Oh, he goes, well, if you're going to be down there, Patty, I'm just going to give you a hug while I'm at it, okay? And so how can I be so sure? Well, because of how he's reacting, right? I mean, he's not panicking or bolting or trying to get down that hallway or get away or anything like that. But we do have to be aware of the weather. Always take the weather into consideration, and it is windy out there. Whew. It's blowing around, so that's a little scary for these guys always. So if you ever have to be around horses or donkeys or any kind of large animal that lives outdoors in this kind of weather, you always want to be extra careful when it's windy. The reason why is that it's actually harder for them to, well, for one thing, they can get something blown in their eye or something because they're just outside, right? They don't get to go inside and get away from it unless they have a shelter like this, which sometimes they choose not to use anyway. But it's, we have doors banging, that is scary, in the wind. Yeah, wind is always not our friend when it comes to training. And so we want to always take that into consideration. But he seems pretty happy. Notice his nose is coming down now below the line. I'm going to reward that.
Get your feet.
So first you're going to do some kind of a curry, then you're going to do some kind of a little firm brush, and then a softer brush. And the softer brush is certainly appropriate to go down the lower legs so that you can not hurt them, but also make sure that they're nice and clean. You can, one of the things that I really like to do is always check their tendons. So as a veterinarian, that's something that we're often going to be doing, is checking tendons. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to usually approach them shoulder to shoulder right here, good boy. And then make sure the animal is comfortable with me being here. And then always you want to do a bend and not sit down on the ground. Feel down the back of the leg here, down in here as well. And feel that fetlock joint, which is right here. Feel underneath the fetlock joint to make sure that there's no scabs or wounds or ticks or anything like that. But mostly, every time you groom your horse or donkey, you're always going to run your fingers. Lift. That was a nice lift. Oh, that was a nice lift. So he's just got a little bit of dry, crusty stuff on your body.
Okay.
If you can get that with the curry. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so you definitely always want to feel those tendons on all four legs before you ride your horse or train them or do anything with them. This donkey is trained to pull Santa's sled. And so if we do any kind of training with him today, once he's ready, which he's not ready quite yet, of course, we're getting him ready, looking him over from top to bottom for any kind of, again, wounds or parasites or swellings or lumps or bumps or anything like that. We want to be extremely mindful of all those things every single time we interact with these guys so that we can be sure that we're not missing anything and we can let our veterinarian know right away and get it taken care of so that they can live the longest, healthiest life possible. So if you have any questions so far, please put them down in the comments below. This is Dominic the donkey. He was donated to us by a family who were going to use him to plow the land, even though they didn't know what a halter was or how to use one or how to put it on him. And he was kept in a chicken run with the chickens, and he had ringworm, and he kept busting out because he was extremely unhappy. And they begged and begged and begged for me to take him, and I wasn't really planning on having a donkey at that point in my life, but they just were persistently begging me, so we went ahead and took him in, even though it was not a difficult time, it was a difficult time for us as far as the rescue and the animals that we had and the expenses that we had. We were not in a position to take on another one. But sometimes the universe just puts things in front of you and you just know it's the right thing to do at the right time, and so here we are.
There you go.
So we call him Dominic the Christmas donkey. And he's part mammoth jack, which is a specific type of donkey. And so that's why he's so big, because most donkeys are not this big. This is a very large animal. I don't know if you can, really appreciate that. I mean, I'm short, so it doesn't matter that much for me as perspective. But I like how, we're moving around him, not using very much pressure. He's staying nice and calm and relaxed. He, of course, could leave, but he is finally comfortable and ready to accept us giving him a good grooming session. He just wasn't willing to accept it in that other room where I was wanting to do it, and that's okay. So you always want to be keeping their opinions in perspective. And I did see him sort of push on the gate like he wanted to leave. And so to me, that means we need to increase the energy, right? Increase the energy a little bit and get him thinking about something else besides whatever was on his mind at that moment, which was maybe opening the gate and getting out of here. So while you're doing that, you don't have a hoof pick, do you?
It might be in the bag there.
So in order to not allow them to practice doing things that you don't want them to do, like leave for one, or push on the gate and demand to be let out, you want to quickly reassess how your training session is going and shift the energy, right? You want to change the frame is what I call it. So we're going to change the energy frame of this training session. And notice he's already kind of like, okay, what is she up to, right? And that's what I want. And so I'm just going to let my assistant trainer know that I'm going to start asking him to lift up his legs. That way she can step back and just make sure she stays safe, but also she might help me, right? If I get into some kind of trouble, like say I'm dealing with a very untamed animal. So I love how she's getting herself naturally into a better, more safer position so that she can back me up if we need help here to get this hoof lift done. So let's see what we can get done with hoof lift. Hey, don't lift. And so I probably didn't even need to hit him or touch him as hard as I did. And I think one of the main things that you have to remember about picking feet in horses is that you got to give them a minute. Will you be ready to click him as soon as his foot hits the ground, Patty? Patty? Will you click him as soon as his foot hits the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, so be ready, okay? Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so the end of the behavior is putting the hoof back down on the ground. So ideally, you want to ask with as little pressure as possible. Lima, of course, when you are asking to pick up their feet. But the end of behavior is when the foot goes back down. And so now I'm going to work on his other feet. I like the fact that he's licking and chewing. And look, he's even like taking his weight off of his back foot. So I'm going to go and see if I can pick that foot. Good boy. Are you ready? You ready, kiddo? Lift. Lift. So that was him not really trying too hard to like hand me that foot and help make it easy on me. I mean, he wasn't really trying to make it hard, but he really wasn't trying to make it easy either. And so you just want to like check in and recognize that and then stop before you go on to just something else, because you have to then decide, okay, is he bleeding? Does he have a nail in his foot? I mean, how important is it that I risk my relationship with this animal today versus getting that particular hoof picked in this moment? So again, you want to train the right thing at the right time. So working on that hoof is not the right time right now. It might be the right time in like 30 seconds from now. I don't know, because we're always checking in, right? Always doing like this dance, this push, this pull, this push, this pull, this invisible dance that we do with them. So I'm gonna go on and try to gauge his body language to see if I'm going to go for the same foot again or if I'm going to move on to the next one. Ideal world, I'd like to get that one done so that we can get all 4 feet picked today and not take us 4 hours to get it done. But again, you just take the time it takes. And if you'll notice, lift. Okay, so then that went okay. I mean, I had to use like a pressure of like a 6, which I don't love, to get it done. But it's been a few days since he's had his feet picked, so I decided that it was worth it in this instance to push it to that level. Of course, if you'll notice, he sort of kind of did that number at me. And so you always have to decide, okay, is that because he's got a little arthritis in that leg today with all that wind and weather out there, and it's just kind of hard for him? Or is he doing something because he is expressing an unhappy opinion about having to pick that foot up? And so that's something that you as a trainer need to always be super compassionate about, and also be always thinking about anytime you run into any kind of roadblock, your first instinct should really be having the compassionate response. And that should be the same in everything in your life, right? Whether it's coworkers or bosses or other kids in school or anything like that, right? We always want to approach life, if at all possible, from the most positive way possible. That's kind of helps you be the happiest on the inside, and it works for animals, and it works for people, and it works for all of us. And so always be compassionate first whenever you run into any kind of a roadblock. And I'm going to stop blabbing now and work on his next foot. nice. That was nice. That was nice. So I did have to use about a level 3 to pick that one up, but he said it. He held it, set it down really nicely, and so we clicked him and gave him a little pet and a little scratch for that. And I'm going to go ahead and work on this last foot. Was a good move. Can you look at your handful of there's all kinds of snacks on my counter. Good. Okay, so we got all 4 feet done, and we were able to look in there, make sure he didn't have any abscesses or rocks or anything like that stuck at his feet. That might prevent him from wanting to do a great job for us if we do some exercises with him. And he's doing really good. So I think that we're going to go ahead. And he's probably fully groomed at this point where we can do a little bit of a training session with him.
Ready for him to get those?
Yeah, just down low, real low. Good. Okay. All right, so how are you feeling? Do you want to take him for a little walk?
Sure.
You want to put should we put a halter and leader up on him maybe and
See if he wants to go for a little walk.
yeah, I think that would be good for him to get a little exercise.
Halter in the barn.
So now, amazingly, after that nice little grooming session, he's really willingly coming back into the garages. So I'm going to bring the camera over there. Good boy. Don't mind our Christmas decorations that we haven't cleaned up yet. There he is. Perfect. Okay, now we've got him all groomed. Now we're going to do halter and lead rope, as long as he doesn't get scared by that. So I'm going to help by setting us up for success. Good. Okay, did you see that? I'm going to give him a little piece of carrot. And I'm going to do it again. Low. And actually, low maybe. Yeah. So this halter was on. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And so that only took a minute. So where should we go? I would say I'm going to have you walk him out the way you guys are standing over there and walk him around in that pen out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's separate from everybody else.
Okay.
And then while you guys are out there, I'll open these garage doors because I just think if we open them now, he might get nervous. Okay, so he didn't love that. So
All right, let's try this way.
and I'm going to open this because maybe he'll be better this way. So if you try to move your animal and take them in a circle because you want to go one direction, and they clearly say, I don't want to do that. Again, from a positive reinforcement standpoint, you have to balance out how important is it that I actually make them do that thing, right? And so in this case, it wasn't that important that he had to do that one thing, and so we're not going to force the issue. Okay, so I'll have you get back on the correct side for moving. Just see if he'll go. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Now it's super windy out there, you guys. So I don't know how much you'll be able to hear. Okay, so he's looking, and that's okay. I'm gonna go get a target, okay? Okay, we had really great success with that, with him moving around. Now he doesn't want to walk as much. Good. I like how she's not. Yeah, just keep the energy moving. Go to the left, go to the right, jump up and down, do some jumping jacks maybe. Get on him. Go get on him, Patty. Go get on him. I'll get the step stool, okay? All right, if you're just gonna stand there, we're gonna get on you then. So remember what I said about trading the right thing at the right time. Now is the time.
Get all the way on. If you feel up to it, I would do it.
to get past the camera. He's like, that was a pretty big deal that I did the jump. He goes, I feel like I should get a carrot for that.
It's a very good boy.
What's your exercise program? It's the new year. It's the new year, Mommy. I know, we need you to live a long time. And for you to live a long time, you have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And the way we can keep you healthy is to get some exercise in. Everybody needs to do a little bit of exercise for longevity and for health, right? And you guys can't see a thing because I'm terrible videographer. There we go. Nice. And even really well done because especially the wind. This is extremely much more challenging because of the wind whipping around in the background. So very good job, you guys. I think we should do a few more rounds. Him, both directions. And then that'll be probably enough for him for one day. The rest of it stays put.
Okay.
And then let's try that. Let's try your eyes here. And so I want you to just a little squeeze with the outside leg. Okay? Perfect. And you really like started doing this. Okay? So I want you to just get relaxed on everywhere the same. Don't put extra on the outside or the inside or anything. I want you to hug him. That's okay. So it was a difficult question I was asking, right? To do a turn around that home. So it's okay that it was tough. I'm gonna move this out of our way. Are you feeling okay?
This is fun. I like it.
Yeah, good. Good. Great job. Okay, so everybody, this is a perfect example of positive reinforcement. So we have no saddle, no bit, nothing like that. We have a beginner who is safely able to mount up on this animal and have fun. And it's not stressful for the animal, right? In any way. We had 2 eyes most of the time, which is really super important, right? And something we want to make sure we have 2 eyes, but before we especially get on them. Good. And I like how she's practicing with her seat. Good. And he's moving off. Good. And if he offers some movement, certainly take it, right? But if he, doesn't want to do a bunch of movement, that's okay too, because he's been at this for a while now, and he's not had an exercise session in quite a long time. This is, Donkey's New Year's resolution is to get in shape for 2025, right? Yeah, Donkey, 2025 is going to be your year, buddy. Oh, you're going to be svelte. Yeah, we're going to do the Olympics with him, just so you guys know. Yeah. The next Olympics, so we have 4 years to get our donkey ready for Olympic show jumping. I think he can do it. What do you guys think? Do you think he can do it? I do. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see if we can, if he'll come in, you can ride him in.
To go in. I'm not sure I can fit.
You're fine. You got this.
Good job, Betty. Good job.
And there we go, you guys. And he gets the jackpot. Yeah. The jackpot. Woo! All right, you earned it, kiddo. You earned it. Yeah.
So good.
You did. I'm gonna have you get off right here, okay?
Maybe.
Or here. Let's see this since he moved. So just keep staying on him good, okay?
Okay.
With your calves and your thighs. Perfect. And then you do that. And I would love for you to come down on this side. I know it's the off side. I see how you got nervous about that.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So I'm gonna put it here. And you're gonna go for another ride.
And he's gonna say, I don't want you to get off.
Yeah, I think he'll watch your head, watch your head, watch your head. Good. Yeah, he doesn't want you to get off. I honestly think that's what he's communicating. So when vegans ask me about riding horses, I say, of course, you can ride horses or donkeys. Watch your head, Miss Patty. But he might not come in. He's really more interested in kind of doing fun things, I think, than just eating. If he wants to take another lap, take it. Yeah, you look good. Yeah, you look good. Just, yeah, sit up a little bit more. Sit up a little bit more.
That sharp turn was interesting.
Yes, it's okay.
But we made it.
You did. Let's see if he'll come back over to here. Perfect.
Monkey, this isn't a good idea, honey.
You're okay, just sit up. So we had to adjust things because the step stool made him nervous, and that's fine, right? So we just changed it up, right away responding to make sure that he doesn't get nervous about anything. And he did really super great. And so now that was a great training session for him. So I know the first 20 minutes of this, everybody was thinking that this was the most boring thing that they've ever seen. But yet it ended with us doing no bit, no saddle, really no kind of bridle reins, anything like that, and doing a very safe ride, again, with a beginner, which a lot of you are, and that's why positive reinforcement is the safest way for you to do anything. So notice that he wasn't coming, so I just said just take his halter off. Again, there's no reason to stress him in any way whatsoever. No way whatsoever. This is a no zone and no stress zone. Baby. Okay, so we easily got him out. Sorry I didn't get to show you that. He went right through the gate. He's ready to go be out with his friends again. Can you open the gate and let me in? Thank you. Okay. You were such a good boy. You were so good. You were the champion today. We're so proud of you. Wow. Did anybody see what an amazing job that donkey did? He was pretty incredible. You should pet him some more because that was amazing.
I would love up on him as much as he wants.
Yeah. Oh, that's our donkey. He did so good. He goes, no one's ridden me in more months than I can remember, you guys. That was a little scary. But he did it. He did it. And Miss Patty did it. Woo! Good job. He says, I mean, you know, there's food and stuff over there, but do you have grain? Okay, everybody, so that was our training session today with Dominic the Donkey, live from the Rescue Ranch, the nation's premier positive reinforcement animal education center. Oh, now you're all adrenalined up? All right, well.
That was really fun, thank you.
Do you want to help me do the same thing on her? Or do you want to go home?
I think I'll call it a day.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
But I would like to try that sometime.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it sometime. All right. thanks everybody for tuning in and watching our training session with Dominic the donkey. And we'll have more training sessions with all the other animals here, including Natalia, this little Palomino wild Mustang filly that we have. And but I think for the moment we'll go ahead and end the live stream. And thanks so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, asking questions, letting me help you in any way that I can with animals. Whether it's questions about dogs, cats, fish, behavior, vegan diets for pets, business advice for business owners, whether you have a horse business or some kind of pet or other kind of grooming business. I am the 2022 Colorado Small Business Person of the Year, so I have a little bit of experience with running businesses. Maybe not so much with running YouTube channels, but I'm getting there. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. And we'll see you right here. And we appreciate all of your help and advice and support. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. See you next time.